Brothers and sisters, so welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about what's gonna happen in the format. We're gonna talk about the new set. Battles of Legend Monster Mayhem. And also we're gonna do a tier list for decks, entraps, and possible board breakers that we might see in the format. This tier list will also extend to the current format because I don't think a lot of things will change with this set. It's not a meta change set, to be honest. There are some interesting options that we might take in consideration, but otherwise we will see more or less the same meta that we are seeing right now, with the addition probably of Punk and Orcust. Today I'm actually joined by the Bozos. The Bozos are, I mean, everyone was good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Aisa, Mario De Micco, all the good squad basically. The entire squad is here with me. Whoever wants to talk will talk. Let's start with the decks. At the first place we will see the tier 1 pick, the one that you're gonna pick if you really wanna do consistently well. The second pick is gonna be like the second tier is gonna be the decks that are spicy, not very well known, that might lead you to a win. The third one just makes me laugh, because if you're picking that, like, might as well just play like your locals. The fourth one is like, you are like, I'm literally dying of laughing because like you can play might as well play Lorcana with your deck. And the last tier will be a coffin moment, like X3, play the side event and also lose your side event. Okay, so Labyrinth post Battle Legends.
I don't think this deck can be played in a format where Malice is played. Just Lingering will just kind of cooks it.
So
and
we just put it here like tier 3, tier 4.
Probably, I mean, the deck can still compete versus other decks, but like if you also play versus Ryzeal, like your hand has to be custom to compete against this. So I don't think Labyrinth's like even a viable option right now.
Okay, yeah, so I do think with the with Labyrinth at Houston, it doing it like performing kind of well, being only like the one Labyrinth player. That was slightly kind of a different format, obviously, with pure Ryzeal like being a big thing and like themed with Ryzeal. But I feel like Labyrinth is more kind of on the second laughter, like on the fourth tier. Considering now people are also playing Storm and Harpies as a very popular option.
Yeah, right now Storming and Harpies are very popular.
Yeah, and I just feel like the deck really can't keep up.
The voiceless voice, I think, same tier. No need too much, like no much discussion about this, to be honest. Like, Droll is in the format. If you want to play this deck, it's probably like with Ryzeal engine and still not good. Like that, this deck is like a mishmash of everything that can make this playable as an extender. Like, we saw this deck being played with the Melodious card, we saw this deck being played with the Ryzeal card, we saw this deck be playing with the Finsmith cards. It's kinda, to be honest, like, it's just an engine that does not do enough, like the voiceless voice one that requires a lot of bricks in engine in order to function, and in my opinion it's not worth the effort. Melodious, I mean, probably at the same level, like literally, like I think Melodious, maybe Labyrinth can be the tier 3 pick, and voiceless voice and Melodious, but at least we saw Labyrinth, and that's why I want to put it here, while voiceless voice and Melodious are like literally disappeared. Mario.
Yes.
What do you think about Tenpai Drive?
I tried lots of different versions of Tenpai because like I love trying to make it work. I still do believe that like the Tenpai Striker is the best version until people know you're on that version, and which will always happen. So like in top cut, if you're trying to win, it's practically almost impossible if you're going with Tenpai Striker. I also tried the like play 25 hand traps, play a few names, and then like the hand traps can help me make Hida as well, and I can crash, and it's all nice and dandy. But until you actually get into gameplay, most of the opponents are putting in defense, or like you can't really make a Hida it's just it's not consistent enough the full hand trap deck, and in the Sky Striker 1 in top cut, you're at such a big disadvantage. I don't think it's viable right now.
Okay, so last tier 4.
Yeah, I would put it higher than most choice for sure. You can put it near Labyrinth, but
something around those lines.
Yeah,
Ritual Beast, I think it's totally unplayable right now. I don't think there should be a discussion about it.
With the death of Lancia, with the death of Shifter to 1, and the deck's really not as good as it used to be.
It loses to every Charmy too.
Argostar is actually interesting because Argostar recently won a decent tournament in Master Duel recently. Actually, there were 2 Argostar, one top, then one won a tournament in Master Duel though. I was very curious about how, the deck would perform. The traps are high quality, in my opinion. The traps are very high quality. It's missing starters, because in other decks, like on Master Duel, you would have Isolde in order to summon the Argostar. Here, I think we have a huge lack of starters for this deck so far. Not enough engine, not good enough for now. I think Konami should develop this kind of strategy more, because those are traps related to an archetype that function for several turns, because Argostar relies on those continuous traps that keep summoning themselves from the spell and trap zone, and after using the effect go back in the spell and trap zone for the next turn. It's kind of nice, and I wish I could see something like this more often in decks, because right now, if you look at different perspectives, you see Ryzeal everywhere because it's a good engine. It's also a good sub engine, right? Then you see Mitsurugi everywhere because it's a very good sub engine, right? But I wish that Konami would make decks that will force you to play only that specific archetype. Because when you start meshing things up, then you take a broken card for this set, a broken card from the other set. The most recent broken cards are usually gonna build your deck. Mermail Atlantean. Okay, so now we go kind in a gray area, and people are gonna, start maybe complaining about it, because Mermail, I said previously that I didn't see Mermail actually performing well during this format, and I'm still backing me up, by the way, on that sentence, to be honest. I don't think Mermail is good. I think Mermail is just a worse version of Memento. Now, Julius might probably disagree on this, and he's also in the bosses, and if he ever counts, it's over. But I don't see it. What do you guys think?
I see it a lot, like you said, like Momento. I do think Momento is way stronger. Mermails do have to play quite a bit of bricks, if I recall, and I know they have Poseidra, but if Malice still goes full board or Ryzeal goes full board, I can't imagine Mermail ever winning, because they draw so many cards, whether it's Dugaris, Binder, Chessy Cat, that you'll eventually have your board presence plus a nice draw in hand. Their only other probably a Qualican, so if you just stop that, you pretty much win the game. So yeah. I do think it's still a good deck. Could be still a good choice. Is it the best deck of the format? No, I do think it's probably a tier 1.5 or 2, but it's still a respectable deck. You still have to be prepared for it sometimes.
Okay, but here is my counter pick, right? Because my issue is not about the bricks, it's about the quality starters. Because the deck does have a good amount of starters, but the quality one are very low. We're talking about Neptabase, someone is also trying Diva, someone is also trying Small World. We saw people being copying on the one copy of Small World, the Prosperity, in order to maybe search the Neptabase, and then they have to run over 40. But the quality of starters is not good enough, in my opinion, because you need to open, 2 Sopos Hydra plus Dragoons or Squad. After that, there is the quality of starters it's kind of lackluster, okay? And for Memento instead, you actually do not maximize your entire starter package, because you want to keep a good number of non-engine. And that's, in my opinion, what makes Memento step over the Mermail deck. And there is also another thing that I don't like about Mermail. Under Lancia, they don't do a lot, actually.
Yeah, they do not. I agree with that. I mean, I feel like the surprise factor of Mermails has kind of faded away, and taking, for example, the Mermail deck post ban list to event was smart, not considering that people didn't really know Decide Lancia for the Barrier Statue combo. Consider that people know it now. I mean,
I think it was a good surprise factor, but now with Lancia, and people should know that they should side Lancia against Mermail.
I agree.
Yeah, it kind of faded away. So I would, like, you want to put it at tier 2? I think it's actually tier 3, but like let's go to a consensus.
I think it's tier 2 because it is better than Labyrinth and obviously Tenpai, and I think that it does somewhat play around Charmies and Droll pretty well sometimes. Sometimes, like I've seen it in action. I mean, you can easily play through a Droll, you can easily play through a Fua or a Pedula. So I mean, I do think the deck is definitely in the second tier just because it's still strong, and if you don't know what you're doing, like, you can easily lose to it because this deck can easily combo through Fua and Barrier Statue, and it doesn't matter if you have 10 cards. If you don't draw the out, you lose.
Okay,
so.
And now we got the Memento strategy. We're gonna go over the Memento pure, the pure Memento, and the Finsmith variant of the deck. I know it might look kind of biased, but from my perspective, so that's why also I'm bringing you guys in order to give me a different perspective. I personally like the deck for those specific reasons. Plays very well around Chammis. Droll doesn't really affect the deck, and Nibiru is like, it doesn't exist for this deck because you can always respect Nibiru in every situation. It can play
so
in that several angles.
I think, believe it or not, I would like. It depends on how we're like looking at Memento, as far as how it's played and like the level of difficulty it's being played. I feel like it could be knocked down one tier, but I do think it is a very high competitive deck. I do think it's probably up there with the best decks of the format. Pure Memento, I think, is on the left side, just because Baguska does exist, and without the Finsmith cards to help you with Baguska, I would be very like leaning towards not playing Memento just because of the Baguska problem.
Yeah, but I mean, the pure variant of Memento does have a Baguska problem that I noticed. There are some outs, obviously. You can play like the Memento Dragon, I don't remember the name, like the 2800 attack that pops 2 that you can play.
Yeah, you can also play Droplets, right, too, right?
And Droplet. The good side about the pure Memento strategy is like you can play Super Poly, for example, because you don't have to play like stuff like the Finsmith and Super Poly. It's actually not bad, this format. For the rest, I found the pure variant being less resilient to entrap, respecting the Finsmith one, because like, yes, the pure variant also plays a lot of normal summons, but the Finsmith one like gives you a line with the Finsmith deck. You can use an extender because one Finsmith is actually full Memento combo. And you don't really use the Goblin in the Memento combo that I usually use. For example, like, I don't usually use the Goblin if I'm not forced to. I just use it if I get stopped multiple times and I have to reach it. Goblin is that kind of card that you don't really want to open, but you want to reach it once you get stopped multiple times. While the pure variant plays more quick spells because it plays also the Goblin quick spell. And get access to Goblin more frequently, while I think that Goblin should be a card that you should use only like after you get stopped multiple times. But that's my opinion on the matter. Obviously I might be wrong after testing the deck.
What I was gonna say is that, like, well, first of all, my personal experience playing against Mementos, I think it's probably one of the decks that I play versus I have like the worst win-loss ratio, because when you put these decks in the hand of a very good Memento player, it's almost impossible to hand trap them and them not do final board. I do think Fiendsmith Memento is way better than the pure just because of Bagusta. Like, if like it has so much trouble, at least the Fiendsmiths give you an opportunity to try and out that. But at the same time, the Fiendsmiths are also like they're extenders. You can do the Befferman plays. You can summon Caesar and Desiree. It just makes your fields a lot more layered. And I do think this deck is very scary, especially like imagine you're going like game 3 and they just activate a Charmy on you, you have to set up an unbreakable board. Like it's almost as if like you have to play into it, and then they just start with Lightning Storm or Droplets or Book of Eclipse, and you just lose automatically. I would say it's probably the deck I'm always most scared of to face in
tier
in
1?
regional. Yeah, I think it's tier 1 level.
And for the Memento Pure, tier 2 or?
I would say tier 2, just because of Bagusa. Like most Ryzeal boards, even Pure Mitsu can set up Bagusa plus a few interruptions, and Momento Pure just can't really out it.
Okay, so about Plant Link. This deck is very, very famous in in Europe. I didn't see it around. It kind of disappeared from the radar. It was always out of the radar, to be honest. There was never a deck that was like played consistently, but like the main characters that were playing this deck kind of surrendered on it. So I'm not feeling quite like, I think like maybe in one of the last tiers. It could also be tier 3, to be honest, for how much I know about the deck. It's probably like for the representation of the deck, we're gonna give him probably tier 3 in terms of power level. I still think it's there. Branded, I think it's like tier 3, same thing. Like the power level is there, it's just not playable enough in my opinion, or not played enough, or people are not really
There's also Impulse on Branded Fusion.
Yeah.
It's like
I think it's actually a tier lower. I just think that I just think that like it's also more difficult to play too, because Branded was difficult to play with 3 Branded Fusions, like to play through it very well. Now you got 1 Branded Fusion, which makes it a lot harder to play, and you have cards like Impulse in the format that just hurt.
Crystoni is kind of a sleeper pick. We saw Santoli actually doing well with it. After that, I didn't really recognize any other good player doing well with it, or any known player doing well with it.
Yeah, Yassine did well with it. He just stopped with the Keto. With the deck.
I mean, I didn't.
And he has multiple tops with Krishan. I do think that it's a good deck. I do think that, it can be in that slot that it's in now.
Again, like the Lancia problem.
Lancia, Droll, and stuff like that. I do agree that
Droll, from my understanding, and also from people under my comments on YouTube, they say that Droll does not really impact the deck. So
no, it doesn't. But because when Krishan first came out, I played it a lot too, and it actually doesn't have a lot of starters, which is why you have to play a lot of sub-engines like the Horus, or you're playing the Examina package. But my problem with this deck was that it can rarely break any boards going second, and Detonator's like a humongous problem for this deck. I do think it's a good deck, but like I don't think it's tier 1 level. It does set up a respectable board, but at the same time, like an X Ryzeal is already making a Krishan end board sweat a lot.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like you turn off the Infinity, you get a starter as well, an extender. Like it's just crazy how good X Ryzeal is into Krishan.
I wouldn't even say Mitsu's even good into the deck, because just Mitsu if Avano can resolve and be chain blocked, it's like the deck cannot compete.
At that point, are we actually putting this deck at tier 2 or tier 3? Because I feel like
maybe not. Maybe we do put a tier 3.
I think it's. I can't decide which one is in between, but it's for sure worse than.
Okay, so Unchained Finsmith is a guy that, in my opinion, can actually like do quite well into the Mitsurugi board. But again, like it's not like the consistency is not there, in my opinion. The deck has to play several engine requirements that make the deck break. It's a deck that it's a deck that made its curse, to be honest. It's past the time. I think like something like tier 3, it's probably better than like Branded, Voiceless, and Melodious. Kinda sad to put Branded in the last tier, to be honest. Like every year it goes 1 tier down. Irrelevant Finsmith, I think this shit is unplayable.
I'm definitely putting that in the dead column. I mean, like, I'm putting it in the dead column. I feel like if you're playing tier elements, and at this point,
I mean,
with
but it's
everything
better
already
than
hit so
Ritual
much,
Beast and Argostar. I think like tier element should be like the troll. Like if you're actually I mean, they are trolling if you're playing tier element things, but I feel like it's
I mean, they are
better
trolling. Yeah, it is a fun deck. I guess I would be laughing while I'm playing it the whole time because seeing my opponent sweat when I mill cards every time, even though my deck does nothing.
I think Hero.
So.
I mean, we don't even need to talk about Hero anymore. I'm
Yeah,
kind of fed
Dark
up
Claw's
with it.
good, but you know, yeah,
Kind of fed up with it. Actually, Dark Lord is not even good right now.
I don't think I've ever seen an archetype that keeps getting so much support, and yet the deck isn't performing at all.
I mean, Drone Lockbird, and it just does not. It's like we feel like it has strong monsters to make an end board, but it just doesn't.
Is there not? Did they not print like an Omni Negate yet for this
They
deck?
did, but it's a trap. They did, but it's a trap. Like we need an Omni negation feels like something like a field spell. The deck requires a field spell in my opinion. Like something crazy. They need like a field spell, like a hero field spell that summons from the deck. Like something actually crazy. Like if they wanna revive this archetype, they need some new link strategies. Like there are so many things to fix. Like they need a field spell, a new link strategy, because bro, like Stratos here and there, but Stratos is like it's like 15 years old. Like we probably shouldn't move away from that card. Like he needs a fresh new start, or a fresh new starter. For Fire King, I mean it's just the world's pure Mitsurugi. I spoke shit about this deck even when Dinkaboy won. I'm standing my ground. I will die on this hill. The deck was not good before. The deck is not good now. The player does not make the deck. Is I mean, except for Dinkaboy, I guess. Very few players that can represent a very few like rogue decks that can actually do well. But Fire King is not it.
I think I would still put it with Labyrinth in that area because I think it's better than
tier 3.
I would put it probably. I think I would put it in front of Christian, or like right behind Christian. You know, like I do think it's better than Tenpai and Labyrinth, but I still do think it's tier 3 because, like, I don't know, like if you want to bring this to a 12 round or 11 round tournament, I just don't see you doing well.
Well, I mean, I'm actually a fan of Fire King. I do think it's a decent deck, but like it's very inconsistent. And since Pure Mitsu did come out, like Mitsurugi is just a way better grindy game, grind like deck in just overall. So
I agree.
Yeah, I would say it's either better or worse than Christian, but yeah, definitely in tier 3.
Snake Eye. So Snake Eye. I mean, I don't see how Snake Eye can perform right now. I mean, it has two Snake Eye Ash, too popular.
I don't see it performing. I mean, honestly, like even if it can make a good end board, like it still has the Fua problem like it did before. Like people are playing role, it's Pedula. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the deck is like
outdated.
It's just past its time. Yeah, it's just outdated. I mean, like they brought back Snake Eye Ash and Popularity 2 because Bonfire went to 1. So I mean,
yeah, it doesn't really do anything right now. It's kind of unfortunate, guys. Sometimes you will have to move on, no matter how much you love a deck. I mean, Yubel is interesting. I would say it's tier 3. Considering all the charm is probably not playable at the top level.
I agree. I do think its end board is still really good, and like even going second, it could still be very good. But it, I mean, I don't want to even count its bricks because I feel like a lot of good decks are playing a lot of bricks anyway. So I mean, bricks shouldn't really be part of a factor.
Goblin Bikers Finsmith. I'll put somewhere in like tier 4. Azamina, Finsmith, Chimera Illusion. Okay, now talking about this deck, I think this archetype, like the Chimera archetype, that bridges very well with the Finsmith. The Azamina stuff that you can put it in is kind of crazy. Okay, I think the deck is broken, like in terms of engine, but there is no way you can stay close to 40 Like, it's not even close to 40 right now. And even if you want to be close to 40, the amount of non-engine that you have to play, it's kind of lackluster, to be honest. Like, it's not good enough. The power level of the deck, I think it's crazy, though.
Well, I actually played Chimera for a long time, and I actually built it recently, and I did some games on Rated maybe a week or two ago. I'm not sure if you guys were in the call, but like, I'm a very big fan of this deck, but it reminds me of Momento, but Momento that loses to Droll and Charmaze. So like if you get the combo, it's crazy, your end board, but you get Drolled, you're basically just doing Fiendsmith stuff.
Yeah,
you get Charmaze.
Naked. Yeah, I feel
it's like worse Momento.
Probably around those lines. Ryzeal Pure. Ryzeal Pure has some, pro and cons. The Ryzeal Pure does not have to play so many bricks like the Mitsurugi.
The Mitsurugi deck. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a consistent end board. Like, you can add more starters at that point. Like, you can play like 3 Small World, 6 Tachyons, and all the good stuff, and you can reach a good number of starters. But the issue that I have with this deck is the fact that before it was way more common to open the raw name and actually combo from there. Now that all the names are at 2, it feels like if you get drolled, it's way worse than before.
Oh, it's way worse. Your follow-up's worse. And not only that, I do think what's worse about the pure Ryzeal deck currently is that it is just a lot weaker than Ryzeal Fiendsmith or Ryzeal Mitsurugi. And I feel like Ryzeal cannot break a board, essentially. Like, even if it can break a board, like Exciton and whatnot, like, decks these days are just geared for the next turn. And, you not being able to attack or even get over a certain monster is not that great right now.
I feel that.
Well, my thing is that their end board is just basically Detonator Pass and one Murakumo basically like outs almost or all the materials off of Detonator. Because he's gonna have to protect itself. You're gonna negate with Cross, and then you're gonna try to pop it. It's just like, and at that time they also search prayers, most likely with sending the Habikiri, and that's just off one card. I don't see Ryzeal doing anything relevant in a Mitsurugi format that has Regekis everywhere.
Something around here or something around here? What do you think? Tier 3, Tier 4? Probably Tier 3. Come on, like this one.
Yeah, for sure. I did like the Carl deck, though.
Ryzeal Fiendsmith.
I would say it's Tier 2. I think it's still good.
I think it's Tier 2. But I think Momento. I think Momento's actually stronger than that for sure. They don't, if I recall, they don't play Cross, right? In these builds, or Cross or Node or something like that.
Yeah, and typically it'd be in the side deck.
Yeah, it's usually in the side deck. I mean, obviously there could be someone who could main deck it, but so far we got those variants, especially because of Shumping playing the Cross in the side deck. To be honest, the variant that I think we should, something that probably it's missing here, but we will discuss it now, is the Ryzeal Fiendsmith, yes, but with Mitsurugi. And I think that one is the variant that should be tier 2 more than actually Ryzeal Fiendsmith, because
agreed.
I don't think Ryzeal Fiendsmith is that good. I would probably put personally Ryzeal Fiendsmith in tier 3, but then if you add Mitsurugi cards, then we can talk about a tier 2, because I think the power level of Mitsurugi and the card quality of Mitsurugi makes literally just like a deck jump a tier.
I'm fine with putting it at the top of tier 3, but I would also be fine with later on, as we put more things in tier 2, we could potentially put the deck in the bottom of tier 2 as well. So I'm down to leave it in the front of tier 3 for now, and maybe change it up at the end or something like that.
Yeah. And for Ryzeal Mitsurugi, in which we are gonna also include the Ryzeal Mitsurugi Fiendsmith, we are gonna put both of those, I think, in tier 2. I think those are very strong decks. Obviously, in my opinion, the Ryzeal Mitsurugi variant is slightly better than the Fiendsmith one. Also because Fiendsmith, in my opinion, lost a lot of value. Fiendsmith was, in my opinion, way better the previous format. And now, yes, like it looks more like a Wakaushi of the format, the Fiendsmith cards. Like it's like if your deck is not good enough for most decks, obviously I'm not gonna consider Memento because I think Memento Fiendsmith is crazy, but like for most of the decks, when you put Fiendsmith cards, especially when the Fiendsmith cards don't bridge into your main engine, because there is, in my opinion, a misconception in the community in which, okay, yes, if my deck can spam 2 bodies, I can just play Fiendsmith. I don't think that's the case. I think your deck should be playing Fiendsmith if Fiendsmith with 1 engraver can bridge into your engine, and your engine can bridge into Fiendsmith consistently. Like for example, like the example of Memento that we put in tier 1, 1 engraver is full Memento combo, and 1 Memento card combo is full Fiendsmith and then Memento combo.
It's just I've been playing Ryzeal and Mitsurugi since the YCS. I basically did very well. I went X2 there. Didn't top, unfortunately. But I played in a lot of other regionals, and the deck always felt great. And it's very consistent. You'll have 17 starters, and it feels good. The times it doesn't feel good though is like you basically have to play, if I recall, like 7 bricks that you don't want to see, but like it basically means that it's gonna. You have Saji, Node, Cross, Star. You also don't want to draw Kusanagi Aramasa as well.
No, I mean Aramasa, like, I think it's fine. I think Kusanagi is like the one, like it's in the nail on the coffee.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine to draw. It's just like not something I'm hoping to draw, I guess you can say. I think the deck is very nice, but it always means that like you're always somewhat playing with a 4-card hand. But the deck is very good outside of that. If it was able to decrease the amount of breaks, to me it would almost be perfect.
For the Ryzeal Fiendsmith Mitsurugi variant, the one that I wanted to talk about, and actually something that for that kind of variant, I saw people not playing cross, which I'm not against, to be honest. And the issue that I found myself with that deck is, first of all, the end board. It's like it seems very strong because you can end on Caesar, Detonator, and Mitsurugi combo, but Caesar is not that crazy right now. Like Caesar actually lost a lot of value in my opinion with all those Ryzeal decks going around. And another issue that I found myself in was the extra deck. Like the extra deck is a pain, to be honest, because you cannot play all the utility that you would like to play, and you have to kind of play like a worst going second Ryzeal Mitsurugi when you are trying to play into a board, because you are missing actually on good options. Because for example, sometimes Tornado Dragon is actually good, and you need it. When you go first, for example, another thing, the Code Igniter might come up through an impulse, and it's not like a card that you can play not consistently in that variant, even though my variant is trying to play in that. It's just missing options in my opinion, like because having a Code Igniter can make a difference, having a Tornado Dragon can make a difference, having a Castell in order to bait something can make a difference, you know.
Yeah, I have some experience with Code Igniter. It's weird because every time I put it in my extra deck, it never came up, and then when I removed it, it would come up. I'm like, it's like a love-hate relationship. I think the card is definitely good. There's definitely something there. But I think it just needs a little bit more testing to see how applicable this card is.
I actually did some Code Igniter lines today for 1x to beat 1 impulse on the ritual, and like that's when the Code Igniters came up for me. But obviously, again, like we're always talking in a vacuum, no other interruption. Then depends where he actually uses the impulse. Like we can talk theorizing over just like combos and stuff, but then when we go to the practical to the practical stuff, that's when a card actually shine or not. Ryzeal Heraldic Beast. Now, I'm a huge fan, but I'm not a huge fan to lose to draw. I think for like I tested this deck for a month actually. I liked it so much that I wanted to bring it to my national. I changed the idea after 2 days, and I think I counted the draw that I got. I got 30 draws in 2 days, and I deleted the deck after. Didn't work out. The deck was nice. I like, Protoss Turbo. That's how I built the deck.
I mean, it's still a good deck. It's just it loses to everything that Ryzeal and Mitsurugi loses to, but it's less powerful going second per se. Like, I mean, if they already have an established board, but that can be said for any deck. I just I think Ryzeal Mitsurugi is just a better pick overall.
I mean, for Malice, this is Malice Bestial, this is Malice Ignister. Like, I don't think there is. I'm not even considering Malice Bestial. We're gonna talk about Malice Ignister. For Malice, like, this one is not a pick. This one, we're gonna put it here somewhere. This is not a pick.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Okay, Malice Ignister with Bestial, we can talk. Malice Ignister, it's obviously tier 1 deck. In a vacuum should be the best deck of the format. Like, the amount of weight that this deck is taking makes it not be the best deck of the format. But in a vacuum, it should be the best deck of the format.
Yes, I mean, before the Mitsurugi cards were announced, I mean, we all looked at each other and were like, this deck is going to be the best deck. It will be the most annoying deck of the format. And obviously,
it's still very
as you can see, Mitsurugi came. Yeah, of course. I mean, like, without Lancia, we'd be very worried. And if Master Duel, when it comes down to Master Duel, I feel like with Lancia not being so popular, I feel like that deck's going to shine.
We were talking about this actually, and like, the deck is gonna lose to Maxi, but like, the fact that the deck loses to Maxi on Master Duel is it's not gonna make a huge difference, in my opinion. Because if you think about it, like, there is also Mermail that loses to Maxima. Mermail is crazy right now on Master Duel. So, like, it's not a deterrent, the fact that a combo deck loses to Maxi, like, the playability of the deck. Malice Finsmith, Malice Bestial, those variants I will just not count. Those variants, in my opinion, do not exist anymore. Ryuge, you are very fun if you're playing this deck. Actually, today, like, I got a friend that was playing Ryuge in a Master Duel tournament. Very funny. Stop the field spell, GG. Finsmith Kashtira, I mean, in my opinion, is an unplayable pile. Probably tier 3 because it has Finsmith and Cash. Probably even tier 4 if we want to talk about it. Probably tier 4. Well, tier 3 because, like, the power level is there. But...
just a worse grindy deck compared to, like, Rugi.
Yeah.
Finsmith, Magical Musketeer, I think, like, it's very laughable that this is still being considered. Bestial Finsmith, I mean, Bestial right now are not. The Bestial are not, I think, are actually crazy good, believe it or not.
I agree, and I think with the next format coming up, I think the Bestials will be a lot better, considering Orcus and other cards are coming out like Lone Light and Gem Knights and stuff like that. Potentially, I'm not. It's good. Actually, it might not be good against Gem Knights, but like against Orcus and Lunar Light, it could be potentially very good.
Primite Finsmith, this one is again laughable, probably like tier 3 again. Like, we have, like, in my opinion, the same power level of Blue Eyes.
It's a Master Duel deck.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all I'll say on that.
Azamina White Forest in terms of power level, it's there. The end board, it's there. If you are playing Finsmith in Azamina White Forest, which is gonna be the next pick, then we are talking about lines through Purulia. Otherwise, the deck scrambles very bad against Purulia. In my opinion, I think the pure variant is very laughable. Without the Finsmith, with the Finsmith, we can maybe talk about a tier. I like tier 2, to be honest. To put this deck as a tier 2, I think the power level is there actually. Loses to draw.
I mean, I played a few of these decks at regionals, and they were very good players, and they set up like respectable boards. But like, at these events too, I was like side decking droplets and lightning storms, and I did draw them versus them. Plus, you have Murakomo. It's just I don't know. Sometimes their end board is good, but like not good enough to be like just the tier 1 decks that can just pop off so much. But it's definitely still a good deck.
I really like this pick. You guys, I guess, do not agree to put it as a tier 2. I actually think that this deck has a lot of potential to be a tier 2 deck.
No, I think it's very good deck. I do think it's tier 2 worthy. It plays into Fualos fairly well, but into Purulia
No, wait. as a mina cards,
Mhm.
like you can make a decent board with like with white forest cards. You can make a decent board under Fualos.
Yeah. That's why I said like under Fualos, like they would usually give me 1, maybe 2 draws and set up easily 4 or 5 interruptions. So I think Perillian and Droll are really the cards that hurt
and
this deck.
that's why you play Finsmith, because so you beat Purulia. That's why I like the Finsmith variant more than the pure variant, and I'm putting the pure variant at the very bottom, maybe at the very bottom here. But like this one, I'll do my pick here. I think it's a tier 2. I actually like the deck a lot, to be honest. I think the potential is there. Loses to Droll, that one is the only thing that makes me, you know. I mean, also Ryzeal and Mitsurugi loses to Droll, so what the fuck are we talking about? Might as well just put it as a tier.
A lot of decks lose to Drone. If they don't lose to Droll, lose to Lancia. So.
Big deal. Yeah,
Yep.
Momento. Yeah, Momento's.
Temple of
Crazy
the
deck.
Kings. We saw Lampy playing this deck during the French National. Very, very laughable. Oh my god. That was
Yeah.
very... it's...
Me, Cam, and Urena, we all played it for 1 YCS, and it was doing crazy wonders on DB rated, and then we went to the YCS and we were all out by like round 5. Like in theory, the deck is good until you're going second.
To the moment, the moment Christian told me, yo, do the Hot-Red combo, and I was in BC and I was like, what the fuck is the Hot-Red combo? Can this deck summon Hot-Red? And then the combo was summon rabbit, set 2 traps. That was the Hot-Red combo, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Like...
I mean, yeah, that deck. I do agree that playing something different for Houston was the play, and I do see why it was tested, and I could see why it was good because people didn't know what the cards did. But even then, going second was still a struggle.
Well, I just like I lost like most of my die rolls, and they always started Ice Engraver. It was just like It was unplayable, and especially when you're not drawing board breakers. Yeah, it has the same problem now. Like if you set up just a detonator, like deck is already sweating, but now you have to deal with detonator, Amino, cross, prayers. Like it's just no, you just can't break those boards.
For Blue Eyes Prime, okay. The last time I said something bad about Blue Eyes, I got at least 208 comments.
Let me tell you something about Blue Eyes. I don't hate the deck. I don't think it's really that good, but it just keeps performing. And every time I see people winning,
Emre, come on, it's Emre.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
this deck is ass.
Okay, but here is the thing, right? If we put Ryan on Sky Striker or Labyrinth, it doesn't mean that Labyrinth or Sky Striker is good, even if Ryan wins an event. Or if, like, Dinkabui picks Fire King and wins an event with it. I mean, yeah, the player doesn't make the deck good, it's just the player that's good. Like, Emre kept performing with the Blue Eyes, and, like, in just, like, this smoke screen of copium for people actually liking the archetype.
I don't think I ever lost to this deck at an event.
Same here.
It's like it's either. I think the most scariest part about this deck is getting to Drill Beam, and they only have 6 ways there. I'm completely fine with them doing
the power level when they open Primite is like it's literally 10 steps higher when they open Primite. If they don't open Primite, it's unplayable.
Yeah, and like sometimes just like Ash on Wishes, crazy, you know, like you stop you'll stop their comment. Maybe they're just ending on Spirit Blue Eyes Drill Beam, you know, like that's fine. Like I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just think that deck is very weak, and every time it comes up against me or at Providence, I versed 3 of them somehow. I versed 3 of them, and I beat everyone. So
I mean, tier 3, I think like it's same power level of Fire King or somewhat there.
I would I think it's worse than Fire King, to be honest. Like
worse than Fire King. I think like after Fire King again.
Yeah.
It's probably better than, like, I don't know, Labyrinth, Tenpai, Azamina, Findling, Cubel, probably here. Bestial Fiendsmith, Unchained, Plantalink, Fiendsmith, Kashtira, Primite, Fiendsmith. Like, Primite, Fiendsmith can be actually after it. But yeah, like, I think that's... Okay, next one, Dragon Link.
Unplayable.
Unplayable, yeah. Dead.
Playable. Centurion. Regenesis makes me laugh, but it's probably for like tier 4 or tier 3, something around those lines. But
Pure Genesis?
It's bad until it does mistaken arrest on you.
Yeah, I think the deck is unplayable. Regenesis White Forest. Never heard of it.
I mean, an Omni Negate, a Book of Moon, and a Compulsory is not going to convince me that the deck is good. Like, if somebody's playing it pure, I do think it's a sub-engine. I like, or a pile with the Kashtira cards, but
Probably laughable.
yeah, I think that was good.
Yeah. I also think it's like a very unique engine. It requires something. It requires things to work. It just doesn't work on its own. It's not Fiendsmith.
Yeah,
What happens when dual drive is like no longer a part of the format or 2500 attack? Like, you're gonna be forced to play Kashtira cards. Like, you won't have a choice. Like, you need something to steal.
And now we got Dragon Rulers. Like, we tested it in poses actually for a couple of nights. And that was sad. That was sad.
Yeah, I do think the deck is weak. I think I knew it was sad when they started putting Tenpai cards and then to give it more power. I get it that the dragons, and I just like, come on, like, does every dragon deck have to be a Tenpai deck that we make? I do think Crystal Lock or Kakamari Drago Lock is pretty good, but it's not good enough.
The fact that I'm not playing this deck should say more than enough from my perspective.
Agreed.
Live Twin Fiendsmith. Okay, this deck is fun. Okay, this deck was not performing until Wyse's Kit. I think this deck punishes your opponent for not actually knowing how to interact with it. Like, for example, a Fuwalos should never be used in chain to the Live Twin monster. It should be used on Resolution, so you don't get punished by the entrap of the deck. The in-engine Live Twin entrap. Talking about this deck, I think this deck is... I mean, it's very good in my opinion, except against Fuwalos. I think Fuwalos all resolution of the Light Twin monster when they have two monsters on the board. If you drop a Fuwa there, they have Ash Blossom, Call by the Crossout, or Scoop.
Yeah, Meows, I think, is also a very good card against that deck. And obviously it is popular still too. Yeah. So I mean, that's two charmies that it's good against that deck. I mean, my problem with that deck is that if versus Mitsurugi cards, Mitsurugi cards can break their board. I mean, there's no like, I don't know. Typically, good players don't play this type of deck. So when somebody does play it, typically you could just beat bad players with technical play, and just because the Mitsurugi cards are so stronger. I just feel like you said the deck is very fair. So
yeah, it's very, very fair.
I don't think this deck is good at all. I found it funny that like it actually won a YCS before Malice, but like it doesn't actually have any real hand extenders if their monster doesn't stick on the board. As Hyzem said, if I just Murakumo your field on your turn, what are you doing afterwards? Like it's already over on the spot.
I
can just
the Caesar. That's why, right? Like we're talking about a combination of X plus a setup of Murakumo that like you can negate the Caesar.
I was talking more about like if I start and I just do Murakumo prayers past turn, you can basically almost win the game on the spot right there.
Yeah, I mean the deck is a very normal summon reliant issue.
Yeah, it to me it doesn't make sense. And going second, like Izem said, there's Meows, there's Bistos, there's Fuwalos. Also, the hand traps it plays has to be like low impact because you want to draw them on your opponent's turn as well. So maybe you're not playing Charmies. I just don't think this deck is very good.
Okay, and here I want to talk about a misunderstanding again about like how we analyze the decks. When we analyze the deck, I'm talking to the viewers right now. When we analyze the deck, We see the engine potential into boards going first and going second, and the which are the most played end traps and which one punishes those decks the most. And that's why Live Twin is gonna be a tier 3 deck, maybe tier 2. What do you guys think?
I'm putting that tier 4.
No, tier 4, we can't. Come on.
I get. I'm definitely giving it tier 3. But like, this is a deck that if the Fiends with cards do get hit as well, I mean, like the Live Twin cards just fade away very, 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 very.
Also,
quickly.
by all means, being tier 3, being tier 2, it does not mean, being tier 3 does not mean that the deck cannot win a Wysis or cannot win a big event. It just means that the engine does not have all the answer that this format requires, right?
Yes.
Like, it can be your day, you can win a lottery ticket, win a Wysis, your opponent might get, you know, like, a stroke meanwhile, like mid combo, and you win because of that, but that does not mean that the deck is not able to win a Wysis. It just means that the engine does not perform very well into the field that we have right now, the current format.
Yeah, also, I mean, I don't know what the guy versus in Top Cut. I know in the finals he did play against Malice, and I mean, if you have good matchups, specifically not against Mitsurugi cards, or you open your good cards like Fuwa or Droll against Mitsurugi, you can have a very fair shot at winning a Wysis with it.
Well, I mean, I want to know who won Dairo in that match. I'm not sure, but
Golden Land. We're talking about Eldritch. It's kind of funny. Like, the zombie engine is getting so much support. Every time we get some new crazy zombie card, now like the zombie Filsper that I don't remember the name can make one Barudras. Unfortunately, the deck is just outdated once again. I'm not sure if I want to put it in like the very last tier. I think Eldritch like at least has some pushes, probably laughable at best. Mitsurugi pure. Okay, yo, we're gonna get so much hate. It's crazy. I think this shit breaks like in a fucking tomorrow.
Oh, of course, it's very, very consistent.
I love this deck. I'm disagreeing with you both. I think this
we
deck
know you love it,
and we know you love it.
It's crazy.
I mean, the deck is not it's not bad when you open playable, but then like I see, I do test the ends. I see most of the ends lose to one end trap, and like it's not there to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to. It's like a concession you're making to like I'm gonna brick a little bit more, but I'm not gonna lose to Charmies or Droll as much. That it's like it's a sacrifice you have to make. It's like, which one do you hate more? And you know, after playing Ryzeal Mitsurugi for like 6 or 7 events now, like Charmies are very annoying. So I definitely understand the appeal to play pure Mitsurugi.
Yes, it has some nice appeal. Still is the Droll, like everything other than Momento.
I mean, if you start Heizem, if you start like just the ritual spell, summon Murakamo, you know, you send Saji, you search.
Do you guys think it's tier 1? I feel like it's more like a side pick than actually a main pick.
I think it's worse than Memento, but better than the other ones.
Yeah. I'm down to put it behind Memento. Not the Fiends with Memento, like regular.
Like tier 2. We're talking about Mitsurugi pure tier 2, not tier 1, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with putting it tier 2. I mean, like, it's still like YCS viable, obviously, but I would still put it tier 2 behind Memento.
What about Fiends with Mitsurugi?
Probably tier 1 because it just deals with the deck already deals with the Charmy issue. I mean, the deck does play minus Impulse, which I do think obviously is a really good card, but being able to play around Perulia more and make a Caesar is really strong, and playing around Troll not most of the time, but some of the times is obviously very advantageous.
Caesar is really not that strong. From my testing, like Caesar right now, it's like very laughable as an endboard.
I would disagree.
I don't think Mitsurugi is as good as. I think it's like you're taking the pure Mitsurugi, you're solving some issues, like I said, with the Charmies and the Droll, and the fact that you can play like the best hand trap right now, which is Impulse. and then you're just removing most of that. It plays better into Droll, of course, but now it plays worse into Fuvalos. And you don't get to play the best hand trap in the game right now. So it's like, I'm not really a fan of Fiendsmith Mitsurugi. Also, like, it is like a large amount of engine. Like, you can play like 5 Fiendsmith cards, but I mean, that could have been all non-engine. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Fiendsmith Mitsurugi version.
Those are some good points, Mario. I like those points, and those are some good counter arguments. I did forget about the Fuvalos issue. And maybe they aren't just in the same spot, or maybe it is a far bit worse. I agree. Impulse is a great card.
I mean, like, the only reason to play pure Mitsu is the Impulse, which I can agree that Fiendsmith Mitsurugi cannot have access to. And I think Impulse is a crazy card, actually. There is not a lot of good entraps right now. Like, there are very few good entraps. Like, after, like it's only Impulse, in my opinion. Then there is the, like, Ash Blossom generic. It's not even good, by the way, because I don't think Ash Blossom is good. You just have to play Ash Blossom in, like, a lot of decks just to beat the Chummies.
I agree. But it's reliable. Ash Blossom is always reliable. It's always going to do something.
Like, Fuvalos, in my opinion, like, if we have to talk about mandatory slot, which we are going to talk in the next video, then we will consider Fuvalos, we're going to consider, like, Impulse, we're going to consider all those cards that, in my opinion, like, some are mandatory, some, you know, are, like, arguable. Ogdoadic. Now, I did test it a lot. I tried the pure variant with the Mitsu card, and I tried it with the Fiendsmith card. Obviously, the Fiendsmith Ogdoadic Mitsurugi variant is way better because it plays very... it's way better around the draw. I felt that even if I was playing Ogdoadic Mitsurugi, my best end board was IP plus Abawaku under draw. Maybe I could have set up also like a Dynamondo IP, but more than that, really under draw I cannot do much if I don't open like the ritual spell. So the deck was not bad in my opinion, but with the adventure of the bestial cards in a lot of main decks or even side decks, as we saw like in other deck profiles, and also like in the Josh side deck, because he was also Josh Schmidt side deck, he was also considering like having more bestials. I think Ogdoadic it doesn't work, unfortunately. It doesn't work because like one bestial beats a snake rain basically. So that was my strongest argument for this deck. So, and if you add Fiendsmith and you play it at 60, it's just very high variance, and then you see less cards like the Chummies that in my opinion are our game different. How do you say game difference? Game changing. So I think this one is probably like tier 3 somewhere.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, like, I would say like it's kind of like I would kind of say it's like a little bit below the Chimera we talked about earlier, how it can play very strong engine, but you know, it starts getting up to the levels where it's over 40, and yeah.
Geminite. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the new archetype, but Geminite got an Omni Negation. Okay, so Geminite got a new support. We got the Nepirim, which is a new starter, and it triggers when it's normal special summoned, and also gives you an extra normal summon for a gem monster, so also it includes gem armadillo. We got the Geminite Dispersion, which is basically branded fusion if you have the Geminite fusion in the graveyard, or it can add a gem monster from your deck or banish him to your end, which is kinda crazy. It's also a Rota, like it's a Rota or a branded fusion. Very high quality cards, very high quality cards. We can play it with Fiendsmith. I'm not really sure about the Fiendsmith variant, if I want to mix it with Fiendsmith once again. I think like Fiendsmith is being added in so many decks when it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when they cannot like do full combo. Like if one engraver cannot do full combo, for your main engine, I don't think you should be playing the Fiendsmith variant. We got Hollow Core, which is an omni negation for monster in the graveyard by banishing 3 Gemini cards from your graveyard. And then we got a very, like, it's not, like, it's high quality, but less high quality than the cards that I just mentioned, which is Master Diamond Dispersion. This one just spams monsters on the board. I like the deck as a concept, but it kind of switched its identity. The deck was way better going first before, and now I think it's way better going second. So it kind of switched its identity. I actually think that like the tier list is not gonna really change post Mayhem, in my opinion. I think it's gonna stay like more or less the same. And Gemnite, again, I'm not really sure. I don't think I want to put it as a tier 1 or tier 2. I think the deck has some potential going second, needs to be explored. So far, I don't see the potential for a tier 2, even though the quality of the card is very high. This one is hard. Hold up. You guys have any idea on where you would actually like put the Gemini? Because the card quality that we got from this set is very, very high. Like we get a monster that can trigger a normal or special summon, gives you an extra normal summon, it's a Rota. Then we got a branded fusion and the Rota in the same card, and we got an Omni negation for monsters if you have like, you know, like Gemini fusion in the graveyard. And it's,
I mean, other than what you told me now, I don't really, that's like the one archetype I really haven't researched that much yet. I would have to go and look at the combos or try and
I'm actually like not sure. I don't think it's at par with the rest, because the issue is the quality of the cards is super high. Like it's actually insanely good, the quality of the cards. My main issue is the fact that the rest of the deck sucks. Like if you remove Brilliant Fusion and the new cards from the deck, like the rest of the engine completely falls apart. So well,
yeah, I think it was being tested, and I think that when it was being tested, like the Fiendsmith cards had to be in the deck to give it a little bit more power and give it to it a little bit more like, you know, reliability. And
but that's
as
a red
far as
flag,
like follow-ups.
Like once again,
yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with that red flag. I do think that if you need another engine to help out with that, maybe you should not considering, because I mean, it means just that your standalone engine, even though it is strong, it's not strong enough.
Okay, so for the next deck, we have Jurak, and I think we tested it. I actually think we tested, like I tested already Gemnite alone, just like, you know, a couple of combos in solo mode, see how the strategy goes. Like the quality cards of the cards for Gemnite were impressive. For Jurak, on the other side, I really thought that was a very good deck when I first saw the cards. But then, everything fell apart.
And doesn't it like Regeki your board or your field or something like that as interruptions?
Yeah, the thing is that Meteor destroys all cards on the field. So
yeah, problem.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah, I remember being in the court specifically, and we were talking about this deck, and we were like, "Oh, this deck looks really nice. It looks crazy. It looks like something we could potentially play." And then
Volcano, it combos with Jurak Volcano. Like you have several Raigeki. Like you can end your board with 3-4 Raigekis, okay, with just a one card combo. My issue with this, there is no follow up. If they break your board, you are actually 100% dead.
I mean, if they really want to support Dino, just put miscellaneous to 3. That's my thing.
It's very sad, because I actually think that like the deck, you know, they've been good.
I mean, the end board that nukes your own board, it just seems weird to me. No, like
yeah, if there was a card that protect, like an inherent like engine card, direct card that protected your direct card from, you know, destruction effects. For example, like the new Vanquish Soul Trap, where it protects.
No, Vulcano protects the Jurak monster from cards effect destruction.
Okay.
Like if a Jurak monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish a dinosaur monster from your graveyard instead. But I think it's only for monsters. I'm not sure if there is a protection for the field spell itself.
But you tell me like this deck can't play any back rows, like no Solums, no nothing like that, just because of this, like this engine.
Yeah, and I wouldn't like to like be forced to activate my set spells and traps just so I can not regret my away.
Well, okay. So I mean, I think Jurak is. I think
in the dead zone.
Dead zone. No, dead zone sounds crazy. Come on, it's okay.
I mean, it pops its own field spell.
Fabled Finsmith, I think it's unplayable dog shit pile, to be honest. I don't think it's even good. Actually, I don't want to put it. I think we'll put it like in laughable. I think laughable for now for Jurak and the Fable deck. It's probably where I would go just to be safe. Necrots, I think it's the same shit. Actually, Necrots probably way better. But it's still, the power level is still on the tier 3 side. Jurak is probably more towards the tier 4 side, and Fable is probably in the dead zone. If I really want to be honest with what I learned about the deck, I think Necrots has actually, like from what I saw, Necrots has actually some potential, and Orcust, I think it's one of the decks that has the most potential.
That would be for Nats format, more
Yes.
you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the deck has potential, but it still loses its Swallows, Pistols, Lancia. Like, it definitely has its flaws.
Lancian, like, if we consider, because I put here Orcust, because there is gonna be many different variants of Orcust, but you can actually do Finsmith combo now in Orcust. And here we go again, like, that's a fucking red flag, which is crazy, but yeah, one Orcust monster is full Finsmith combo. So you can special summon the Link 1, the Link 1 is gonna add the World Legacy, World Crown, and then you special summon Crown, and then you make Moon.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, like I think it's an interesting deck, but I'm not sure how powerful it's gonna be when you compare it to the tier 1s we already have.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Not
again like the power level of Gemini. I'm gonna put it in like tier 3 because the card quality is there, even though I think the deck is gonna probably be very, very dog shit at the end of the day. But that's like, again, this is for thoughts. Like, I'm just like messing around. This is the first week I'm messing around with this stuff. I didn't go in detail with any of those. I just like, you know, mess around a little bit for a week. The Gemini strategy like feels, I don't know, like not enough. The Necrots one is one of the most power level cards in my opinion, like very, very powerful cards. But
I mean, Unicorn is still strong in my opinion. Do we not agree that Necro's Unicorn is a good card?
yeah,
Mirror
then
Como.
we go to the Orcust cards.
Yeah, Mirror Como is a problem.
X-Ryzeal.
I think Orcust cards have, the Orcust cards have the same level of like maybe power level of Live Twin if you think about it, like Orcust Finsmith, Orcust Live Twin Finsmith, like this is the same shit. For Dragon Maid, I think it's an unplayable pile. So for what I like understood about the deck, I mean, not in the dead zone because it's not that unplayable. I think the card quality, once again, the card quality is very good for an engine that does not give that power level. It's very unfortunate in my opinion because the cards that we got in this new set are actually crazy. Punk is one of the most promising actually. Punk Finsmith, very promising in my opinion as an archetype. Very, very promising.
I agree. I did think that the deck, funny enough, is very interesting. I do think it can play a lot of non-engine.
I think I'm gonna give actually Punk the benefit of the doubt. I think tier 2, bottom tier 2, maybe top tier 3.
I mean, I played a lot of Punks on Master Duel because they have the new support.
Yeah.
And they usually have like a monster negate, maybe Lacrima Graveyard plus a bounce 2/3 cards with a Ghost Ogre. I mean, it's fine. I just I don't know. I don't find it like
I play
crazy.
I play Punk too. My end board is, I mean, am I going uninterrupted? Because if I'm going uninterrupted, I do some crazy shit.
I mean, like my opponent, one of my opponents I had played against, says playing Punk, had he had made his board Caesar, the negate and stuff like that. And I went Lightning Storm for monsters.
I think.
Yeah, that was my only issue. That was my issue. Like I had went Lightning Storm for monsters. I had got rid of his Caesar and his monster negate. But I mean, the man drew 4 cards, and when I went Thrust on Resolution after I went Lightning Storm for monsters, he activated Mistaken Arrest. And I mean, when he's drawn 4 cards uninterrupted,
I mean,
he's going to draw into his side cards.
You can agree that like any deck that goes uninterrupted that draws a lot of cards is just going to automatically win.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was just trying to point out to the fact that it's like I feel like the board is weak though. I feel like the board can just very like quickly lose to Murakumo or Storm or stuff like that. And without relying on its draws, I don't think it can really put up a strong board. So like I feel like if he gets rolled and even if it ends on like something, it's just not good enough. Like it's not like a detonator. It's not like maybe some Malice if it sees backup under Lancias. I don't know. I just feel
and for Magistus, unfortunately, I don't see it. Very laughable. Probably dead. It's probably here. I think I saw only. I mean, I'm gonna just not vote for Magistus. Let me know, you guys, in the comment what you think about Magistus, because it's not on my radar, to be honest. I think I read the cards. Like, is there like 1 or 2 cards that were like the new fusion?